There are encouraging developments this morning. In the case of Josie Lou Ratley, the Deerfield Beach girl police say was attacked by a teenage boy. The news comes as a judge decides to let you and me in on all the facts of the case. Carolyn Ryan is live from Fort Lauderdale, where Ratley's mom will speak on the Today Show later this morning. Carolyn?
That's right, Bob. A couple of new developments in this case, and first of which you just mentioned there, Josie Lou Ratley's family is expected to speak out on the Today Show a little bit later this morning from the Embassy Suites Hotel, which is right behind me here in Fort Lauderdale. She's going to be updating us expectedly on Josie's progress. Now, we do know that Josie has begun to breathe on her own and is no longer on a ventilator. And over the next day or two, doctors are also expected to wean Josie off of the coma-inducing drugs. You're looking at some recent pictures here of Josie in the hospital. These were taken just over the Easter holiday, of course, with her family right by her side. Today actually marks 21 days that Josie has been in the hospital in a drug-induced coma. Now, you may remember Josie was beaten and kicked in the head at Deerfield Beach Middle School on March 17th, allegedly by 15-year-old Wayne Tracy. Now, we're going to take you to some other video here of Tracy in court yesterday. The developments out of that case was a gag order has been lifted, and that came out of this court hearing from yesterday. That gag order was put into place last month, but Tracy's new lawyer, Russell Williams, said that he felt the facts of the case would come out regardless of a gag order. We also asked Williams yesterday about his client and if he's shown any remorse. Here's what he had to say about that.
He was crying in there just now, so I mean, every time I hear that she's doing a little bit better, I run over to the juvenile detention center just to give him that information, because he doesn't get any news reports or anything.
All right, now Tracy's lawyer also told us that charges are pending against his client right now. He said that he asked the state to hold off until April 19th, so we will keep an eye on that. In the meantime, Broward County Public Schools will be holding a news conference later on today at 1 o'clock to talk about bullying and violence within the school system. And then, of course, Josie Lou Ratley's family will be speaking out on the Today Show about the progress of Josie later on this morning. That's the very latest from here. Carolyn Ryan, NBC, Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you, Carolyn, and please tune in at 7 to the Today Show. Matt and Meredith will be speaking with Josie's mother, Hilda Ratley, at about 7:30.
Finally, a ray of light in a dark story of shocking teen violence. A 15-year-old girl in Florida who was nearly beaten to death at a bus stop is slowly getting better. Josie Ratley has been in a coma since the savage attack 3 weeks ago. We are so thrilled here on Issues to hear that she is now able to breathe on her own and open her eyes. Yay!
Right now, she's able to move her right side a little bit, which I was really concerned about that because there was no movement at all. And of course, she's moving the left side, and she's opening her eyes, but she's not actually focused on anything yet, and she doesn't follow commands yet. But she's getting there.
Police say a 15-year-old boy viciously beat Josie outside her school. He allegedly kicked her head over and over with his steel-toed boots. Despite Josie's signs of improvement, her mom is still in a cloud of shock and horror.
When I'm home, you know what I do? I cry and I stay in bed. That's what I do. And I pray that my baby come back to me the way she was when she left my home that day.
That poor woman. What could push a child to commit such horrific violence? In this case, it may have been the suspect's traumatic family life. Did he ever get the help he needed to cope? The boy's attorney joins me tonight, and we're taking your calls. 1-877-JVM-SAYS. That's 1-877-586-7297. I want to welcome back psychiatrist Dr. Dale Archer. Also, bullying survivor Jody Blanco, author of Please Stop Laughing at Me, and Russell Williams, the attorney for the 15-year-old suspect. We're not identifying the boy because he's currently charged as a juvenile. Mr. Williams, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
What has your client, the teen suspect, said about this attack?
He doesn't really remember a lot, but he's very remorseful. The second I walk in, the first thing that he says to me is, "How's she doing?" He doesn't really have any updates, so he's very he cries all the time, and he just really can't answer the why questions.
The 15-year-old suspect's dad has been arrested, get this, are you sitting down, nearly 50 times in Florida. He bounced in and out of prison for 20 years, everything from drug dealing to weapons charges. The suspect's older brother was more like a father to him. That's until last October, when this teen found his brother's body hanging from a tree. Police say just before the attack, Josie sent him a text message referring to his brother's suicide, and the boy allegedly replied, referring to Josie, "I'm coming over there and I'm going to snap your neck." After the beating, he allegedly sent this text to a friend: "Well, I guess I'm going to prison. I almost killed somebody," end quote. Russell Williams, there's a lot of people who are very skeptical about remorse after the fact and compassion after the fact. But I do want to ask you, did your young client ever get therapy in the wake of the suicide of his older brother? Was he ever diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder over his older brother's suicide?
No, and that, by the way, happened on his birthday. He was on his way to a birthday party. They saw his brother's car. They saw some paramedics. They approached the area. They saw his brother hanging from a tree right by the car. 2 days he grieved, and then his mom asked if he was okay, if he wanted to get counseling. The school was willing to help him with counseling, and he said, "No, I'm fine." And as we know now, unfortunately, apparently he wasn't.
But, okay, what about the other parent? What about the mom? I mean,
the mom she's a loving mother. His stepfather is a super nice guy. They were very protective over him. They even let their brother, because he was going through a divorce at the time, move back into the house. And you were right. He was a de facto father to him because his real father was never around.
I just don't understand why this kid didn't get therapy, why the parental units didn't insist that since he saw his older brother hanging from a tree on his birthday, that he didn't immediately get intensive therapy. A kid is not going to get over that on his own.
I believe that I think education would really lend people to have somebody go into therapy to understand the process a little bit better. I don't think that the parents, and I'm not saying this in any condescending way, were that educated. They believe that the boy was okay. He's smart, was running straight A's. He was taking Japanese as a language, so he was brilliant, and they didn't see what was coming, whereas maybe a more educated family may have seen it coming, have more options open to them.
Dr. Dale Archer, do you buy it?
Well, I think that whenever you look at teen violence, you have to look at the big picture, and there are 4 things that go into it. Number 1, the culture of violence that permeates our everyday world.
Absolutely.
Number 2, the school system. Number 3, the parents and the family. And finally, the child itself. So I think in this particular case, the brother was a father figure to him. That was his stability. And the dad was in jail, as you said, almost 50 times. So when that stability is ripped away from you in a violent act, self-induced act such as suicide, the trauma is just unestimable. So there's not a doubt in my mind that this boy was grieving inside and no one was there to recognize him.
Yeah, but Jody Blanco, this is all after the fact. Where was this young man's remorse and compassion when he was allegedly stomping on this girl's head 7 times with his steel-toed boots? Now she needs to go into therapy to have part of her skull replaced, Jody.
I think the problem is, and again, it always comes back to the same question. Where are the adults? Number 1, I feel bad for all the kids involved here. Compassion isn't taught in the home. It's not reinforced in the schools. And I think that our kids are suffering from something I call empathy deficit disorder, a lack of empathy. And where was the school and the counselors? If they knew this kid was in such dire straits, where were the counselors insisting to the parents, you need to get this child help? Rage is not something that's always hidden. Typically, on a daily basis, if there's a child that's teeming with rage, someone has to see something. A friend at school, a classmate. Did anyone not see anything? Because now we have a suffering girl who's an innocent victim. And in this case, the perpetrator was a victim of circumstances too, though I don't excuse his actions at all.
You've seen how devastated Josie's mom is, and for good reason. Listen to what she said about the suspect and his family.
I would have liked to heard them to tell Josie that they are sorry you know, and the boy to say that he was sorry also, you know, that what he's done was awful, awful. That, you know, I mean, I don't know what's going to come out of this, and I don't know how to feel as far as they go, or he does, but I don't know. I think they need God. That's all I can say. They need the Lord.
Russell Williams, does your client, the teenage suspect accused of this head stomping, want to apologize to the victim, Josie, and her mom?
Well, I really can't answer that question because, as you know, he has the right to remain silent, and anything that he would say would be used against him. The family obviously has spoken to me at length about wanting to reach out to the parents, to the mom, and I said no. I had yesterday in court, I actually did extend my sympathies to the attorney, Mr. Friedman. Spoke to him for a little bit and wanted to let him know that the family is thinking and praying for Josie as well, as is my client.
You know, that attorney, Mr. Friedman, has said it's got to be more than just locking up another kid and throwing away the key. And that's one of the reasons we're talking about this, is that we need a bigger solution. I personally have recommended group therapy in public schools, and it's starting to seem a little less crazy, Russell Williams, than it did when I first suggested it.
I think that's a great idea. I think in today's culture, and I have two boys, so I mean, I think in today's culture, with the way things are going, the internet, texting, I think that teachers need to have training. I think counselors need to be more aware. Parents need to be more aware. So I think everybody needs to be more aware of what's going on out there.
Thank you. Fantastic panel. Our thoughts are with this poor girl. We hope she makes a complete recovery.
We're back now at 8:10 with some new insight into Wayne Tracy, the Florida teen accused in the alleged text rage beating of 15-year-old Josie Ratley. This morning, his mother and stepfather are speaking out for the first time. We'll have our exclusive live interview with them in a moment. But first, here's NBC's Mark Potter.
15-year-old Wayne Tracy is being held in juvenile detention, awaiting word on whether he'll be charged as an adult. He's accused of attempted first-degree murder for allegedly hitting and stomping 15-year-old Josie Ratley in a dispute over text messages nearly a month ago in Deerfield Beach, Florida. Another girl, 13-year-old Kayla Manson, is accused of being an accessory to the beating for allegedly helping Tracy find Ratley. Ratley's family says she is still in a coma in a Broward County hospital. Shortly after Tracy's arrest, his then public defender said the incident might be linked to a horrible family tragedy involving the suicide of Tracy's older brother, Michael.
Last October, the day before Mr. Tracy's birthday, his 15th birthday, he found his only brother hanging from a tree. And that's what we're exploring. We think that event is what triggered what happened.
Officials say before she was beaten, Josie Ratley made a disparaging remark in a text message to Tracy about his late brother Michael. Family and friends were surprised by his arrest.
He has never been arrested. He has no history. He was a student at Deerfield. He was in good standing there. He was a good son, and there's more to come.
In South Florida, there have been several fundraising events to help Josie Ratley's family. Tracy's attorney says the boy is devastated and extremely concerned about her. And his mother says if the lawyers allow it, she would like to visit with Josie Ratley and her mother in the hospital. For today, Mark Potter, NBC News, Miami.
We are joined exclusively now by Wayne Tracy's mother, Donna Powers, and stepfather, Carrie Smith, along with the Tracy's attorney, Russell Williams. Good morning to all of you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Donna or Carrie, either one of you can take this. I know you were somewhat nervous about doing this interview as Wayne sits in that juvenile detention center. I'm curious why you decided finally to appear.
Just to get Wayne's side of the story out.
What is Wayne's side of the story? I mean, at face value, the facts in this story are not pretty. Your son, severely beat this young lady. She is in a coma, a medically induced coma. He had to know at the time, while he was beating her, that he was inflicting terrible harm. So what is his side of the story?
Well, I don't think that he really knows why he did what he did. I think there were a lot of issues that manifested itself over a period of time, starting with the death of his brother, and then continuing on, which went unrecognized by not only his Donna and Kerry, but also by school officials.
Yeah, but again, this beating didn't just take 3 seconds. This took a lot longer than that. Are you contending, Donna or Kerry, that he simply snapped?
I believe so. That's not Wayne's nature. He's not a bully.
Talk to me a little bit about the changes that you've seen him over the past 6 months. You lost another son, Michael, who took his own life about 6 months ago. How did that impact Wayne? What changes did you see in him?
Didn't impact him very well. I mean, how would you like to be 15 and find your only brother hanging in a tree? So I think the impact, you know, kind of hit him hard. And he was questioned about it, and, you know, he talked to me a little bit about it, and, you know, he dealt with it day by day.
Did he lash out on any other occasions following the death of his brother?
No, sir, he did not lash out at anybody. Like I said, he's a good kid. He's well liked in the neighborhood. Everybody in the neighborhood likes him. He's never been in trouble with the law. He's good in school. You know, he's a normal 15-year-old boy.
So what do you...
He went through a lot in October. He's not... He didn't just go through the death of his brother in October. He lost a schoolmate 4 days later. And he almost lost 4 people in the month of October 2009.
However, you say he has not acted out before.
He had a lot on his plate for a 15-year-old.
I understand, but you say he hasn't acted out before. So what was it about this incident involving this young lady that you think caused him to snap?
Well, evidently, she must have said something very derogatory about his brother's death.
That's what we're trying to get some mental health professionals in to find out what flicked that switch in his head and made him from a rational 15-year-old child to an irrational 15-year-old child. And I'm hoping that at some point during my representation of him, we'll be able to figure that out.
Wayne knows or knew that this interview would take place. In the times you've spoken to him over the last couple of days, is there anything that he asked you to convey to the people who might be watching this?
Yeah, he would like to apologize to Josie and her family. He's real remorseful about it.
He wishes that, one of the things he said to me on Friday was he wishes that he can turn back the hands of time to the day before his brother died. And he thinks that none of this would have happened.
We've had Josie Ratley's mom on the show on a couple of occasions. Donna, if you could speak to her, what would you like to say to Josie's mom?
I am so sorry, and my heart and prayers go out to you and to Kayla and her family, that I know the pain that you are going through. I'm just sorry.
Donna Powers and Carrie Smith, Mr. Williams, thank you all for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're back right after this.